Hey everybody, Baldoric here. Today we're going to be talking about Henry and how I would build him for Aether raid defense specifically. I only have 2 builds for you today. I tried coming up with 3 because I usually do 3 builds, but I really could only fit him for 2 different roles, and that's budget and investment. You can do some kind of meshing of both of these builds that I'll be showing you in a little bit. Switch things out here and there, but the core of what I want him to do is really covered in these 2 builds, so I think that's really all we need today. And it'll just give me a little bit more time to go over each build. But before we go into the builds, let's talk about what his weapon is. So, Corvus Tome with the effect Refine on it. First of all, it gives him weapon triangle advantage on colorless foes, and it gives colorless foes the weapon triangle disadvantage on him. So that way he's really good at covering your base with, like, if you have your, dagger vantage unit attacking. He's got, excuse me, he's got some way of, like, mitigating that damage, bows, anything like that, all mitigated. However, the kicker is that if the foe, at the start of combat, if foe's attack is greater than or equal to his attack plus 3, he inflicts attack and resistance -6 on the foe during combat, and the special cooldown charge -1 for foe attack. Couple big things. It inflicts attack and res -6, which means, first and foremost, less damage to you, more damage to them, because he obviously attacks from distance. And the special cooldown charge. That means they are not going to get a special off on you. So as long as their special isn't ready when they attack, you pretty much do not have a special hitting Henry almost ever. And the builds will help cover that too, at least one of them will. We'll go into that. But this is a really good tome. But it's only really good defensively. I don't really see a good spot for it in offense. I really tried to build something for it. Maybe it could work, but I think it's really meant for defense here. That being said, it's a cool tome because it's actually playing off of his really low attack stat, and it makes it kind of viable to have that attack stat. As low as it is. So, that being said, let's take a quick look at the first build, which is the full invest build for Henry. So, our full invest build obviously sees a lot of changes to him. So, let me first also say that I'm using 1 of each Dark Mythic for this build. So that's Sothis and Yune, 1 of each. You could swap either or, doesn't matter. That's actually what I have, so that's why I'm putting it there. If you have 1 or 2 of 1, whatever it is, that's fine. But just so you understand what stats are going in here, those are the 2 mythics I'm using. Now, Corvus Tome obviously is on him. Swap, just because it's, sometimes comes in handy. Ignis is a big one on this build. His defense is 47, okay? With 47 defense, Ignis is going to be doing 80% of that as bonus damage on the attack. Now, if the team around him is like a infantry pulse defensive team, and you have 1 person on the team that has a special AoE that'll do something like an Ophelia with special AoE that just does a ton of damage to anyone that she hits with it, you basically have a... I mean, you could do that with anything, but with Henry, there's nothing that's going to kill him after that. He's going to kill everything that attacks him. Alternatively, you could just do an infantry pulse team with things that counter the whole Vantage Sweeper team, and you're going to be good to go. Like, you could have the Duma, Don Suzu, somebody else that I can't think of. Well, any units with Hardy Bearing, really. But the reason I'm giving him Ignis is because I also decided that I wanted to do Fortress Defense Res 3 on him. A lot of people do slot in something like Close Counter in this slot, and you could. I choose to do Fort Defense Res 3 here. 1, because it decreases the attack stat by 3. Not a huge deal. And honestly, with his tome, it's kind of advantageous to have a little bit less attack, even though it's already small. You never know. It makes his defense and resistance really formidable. 47 defense is really good, and 42 resistance is honestly solid. Especially considering that I'm putting Mirror Stance 2 as the S slot. That means when he is being attacked, you're going to have 45 attack, so that pretty much nullifies the fortified defense resistance and gains a little bit more than that. And the resistance goes up to 46. Decent stuff. Now, with low attack res as his B slot, and his tome itself, you are inflicting attack and resistance minus 12. That's huge. Attack resistance minus 12, covered by the fact that their special will not proc because of his tome, and after the combat, you have Pulse Smoke 3. Pulse Smoke 3 is going to inflict the special cooldown charge after combat, which also hits the foes around him, if I'm remembering that correctly. Hold on, actually, let me just confirm this so I'm not just saying that. Yeah, foes with the 2 spaces. I'm saying it's a smoke skill. It does do that. I'm not crazy. Anyway, so you hit them with the Pulse Smoke, so foes around them are going to get the special cooldown charge. They get the special cooldown charge per attack on them, then Pulse Smoked. You have minus 12 to attack and resistance. Even though his attack stat is so low, you actually are still going to be surviving, and if Ignis is popping because of your Pulse Smoke, you'll be killing some of these units. Really, the biggest thing, though, in most Aether Raid defenses is just making sure that you get like 1 or 2 kills to really secure that lack of lift loss, especially with 2 mythics and like full dark teams. You just want to do as best as you can. And this is a unit that really, really enhances stall and can definitely pick up kills. A build like this is optimized for surviving, killing maybe 1 person, and depending on who his teammates are, potentially even just surviving the entire team. So that's one way to build him. This is a full invest. There are other ways I thought about building, like instead of fortified defense res, maybe put like a HP plus 5 or red dual infantry or something like that to give the additional HP. Instead of Pulse Smoke, you can put infantry pulse there, like something like that, which we kind of cover in the next build, which is the budget build. So the budget build isn't entirely different, but all of these things are stuff that you can get using heroic grails, or from the free pools for summoning. But there is a little bit of investment in this one because you do have to, unlock potential for some of the heroic grail units to get these skills. But I still put that into the budget build because it's not that crazy to get 20,000 feathers, especially with all the events that they throw at us. You can pretty much get 20,000 feathers at least once a week, twice if there's a special event going on, depending on what the event is. Now notice, the stats are lower. I did not include mythics on this particular build. So if you don't have mythics, this is around what his stats are going to look like. Now, I also gave him the res stat this time. His res stat has a super boon, so it's plus 4 instead. So I was thinking to myself, with this build for the budget, I wanted it to be a little bit more even between his defense and resistance, because it was too low. 31 res is too low to really be as given the survivability that I would like. It's still not fantastic, but it does work. Depending on who his teammates are, what buffs are coming out, it actually will definitely be okay. But just something to keep in mind that this is a little bit lower. HP plus 5. 1 is for survivability, and 2 is to help with infantry pulse. This is to make sure that you need... Well, actually, if you're going to use this build, you need to make sure that the other people on your team are getting the kills. You're going to want something like... if you're going budget, you could use, I think it's Lena is her name? Hector's daughter, whatever the heck her name is. And give her, an AoE special, and then just use things that can also go in and just do big damage. And with infantry pulse, your specials are going to be going off a lot sooner. The dull range is there just to make sure you're mitigating damage on ranged attacks, and if you put him in the right spot, he should only be hit by ranged attacks depending on who's covering him on your team. Mirror stance, once again, same deal. That's to boost your res to 39, and your attack goes up to 47. Nothing crazy, still will be under most people's attacks. There's only very, very few units, maybe stab users that won't pass that threshold. But again, budget build. Totally up to you. You can change this. But this is the only way that I could really see a budget survivable Henry working. You still kind of need the other build to really make him work, or something similar to the other build to make him super survivable. But this does work. This would survive, and this would at least stall enough where if you play it right, your team can go in and possibly get those 1 or 2 big kills that you need to really keep your defense going and hopefully minimize your lift loss. That being said, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my Henry coverage. If you have any comments for me or build ideas yourself, leave them in the comments below. If you like the channel or you like these videos that I'm putting out, please make sure to like and subscribe to the videos. Anything really helps this channel. Any advice you have for me, critiques, anything like that, post them in the comments below. I would love to read some. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter. It's all in my channel. If you click on the channel description, it's all there. It's Baldoric Wow. Twitch.tv/Baldoric Wow, that is. And that being said, I think that's all I have for us today. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you next time.